Dan Tate. It's
Hey,
weird.
Brandon.
We did 2 weeks of our podcast, vlog, whatever we're calling this thing.
In a row.
In a row. This is epic for us. And I am so excited about today's conversation because I did research. Dan, did you do research? Don't lie.
I'm doing it as we speak.
I love that. So this week we're talking about sustainability in theater and community and how we can be better citizens of our world. And it's one of the things that I think is really hard in the theater world. And so I wanted to bring in an expert to talk about it because I think that she's going to give us some really good insight in that. Don't you think?
I hope so, because I know what's interesting to me about theater and sustainability and stuff like that is I think that it's hard to come up with new ideas.
Sure.
So that's what I'm excited about.
I totally agree. But before we bring in our guest, I just want to point out that Keith says that we are awesome. So.
Whoa. Well, then let's end on a high note.
Right. Great episode. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you very much, Keith, for ending this quickly.
All right. So I'm going to bring in our amazing guest. She is so talented and so amazing. This is Mandie Wood Harris. Hi, Mandie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am living the dream. And Dan Tate looks like he's living the dream from his house.
Yep. I spend a lot of time at my house now.
That's great for you, though. And your kids probably love that you're there a lot.
Well, they're all in school. That makes it a lot easier. But what's bad is when they're not in school.
Hunter says, just a quick comment. Hunter says, hi, Brandon and Dan, that they miss us. So just thought we should share that too. We miss you too, Hunter. All right. So Mandie, let's just get started with a little conversation about who you are. Like, where did you come from? Tell us about you and all the good things we need to know about you.
So where I came from, or how I got to OPA?
All of that. We're open to any discussion here.
So I think it's fun that I'm actually in OPA right now.
Yes, you are. She's down the hall from me. She's like 2 offices down from me because we couldn't be in the same room because there was feet. Anyway, it didn't work. So she's 2 offices down from me.
But the reason I'm here is also for sustainability, because the costume that we're working on right now is something that's being used again. So even the reason I'm here in the first place to talk to you about sustainability is because of sustainability. So that's really cool.
Well, so a few months ago, Mandie's been here at OPA for a little while. We absolutely love having her around. But a few months ago, we were talking about the new building because the new build that we're looking at here at OPA, and Mandie was like, "So what are you doing?" Like she started to like ask little tiptoe questions about sustainability, like, "How are you gonna? What are you?" And I was like, "Why are you asking this?" And she's like, "Well, I'm just really interested in it." And then I found out that this is you're getting a master's in sustainability. Yeah. Yes.
So I'm actually doing a master's in arts administration from Southern Utah University. And for my capstone program, I'm doing my capstone on sustainability. And Brandon was so nice to let me kind of use OPA as my study theater. And so I'll be directing one of the new works in the spring. And I'm really going to focus on sustainability with that show. By the way, Brandon, though I think I did talk to you about this. And so that's where I'm coming from, is working on my master's capstone through Southern Utah University with sustainability in theater that really ties into sustainability in business and our homes. It just kind of goes, there's a few things that you do with theater that's slightly different, but a lot of it is the same. And then I'm hoping to take that further. I'm in talks with another university, but I can't really talk too much about that because it's still in the works. But
secrets right here on our Community Matters chat.
Secrets coming, and I hope it works out. But if it doesn't work out with that university, I will keep taking it forward, just because I think it's really, really important right now, and just into the future and what we can do. And another thing is, sustainability also saves money, and what arts organization doesn't need that?
Right. Amen to that. Right. So Mandie is one of our OPA players here, and she was recently in Be Our Guest. No,
Yeah.
in the Beast. She was in Be Our Guest.
She was in that too.
Yeah, she was in that too.
Yes.
But, so why did you get involved in the arts? Tell us about where the arts came from in your life and why you're involved.
Oh, wow. So I kind of just grew up with it, to be honest. My family is all really strongly involved in the arts. And so I've been in plays of some sort or other, singing, dancing, theater, basically, I don't want to say since birth, because that sounds like really pretentious. You know, not necessarily fancy things when I was little, but for as long as I can remember, at least, you know, parents were like road shows and stage plays and things around like that, and just for the rest of my life. And so then I got my bachelor's from Weber State University, a dual major in musical theater and theater education with a minor in English education. And so I teach theater and English right now at a junior high up in Ogden Valley. And so basically the arts have just always been there.
Love that.
Well, can I just say, Mandie?
Yeah.
You as my theater teacher would be like, that would be great. I can't even think about it because I'm like, that would be so much fun.
So I have to laugh because I kind of pull stuff into my English class. So we just finished a book and there's Vikings in it. So we made weapons out of newspaper and then went outside and had a Viking berserker battle and just beat the tar out of each other with newspaper swords. And it was so much fun. And they had to die dramatically when they got hit a certain number of times.
That's just like Tuesday night here.
Yeah,
like a normal occurrence.
It was out of newspaper and it was sustainable. We recycled it.
I love that.
That sounds like a great way to release some tension.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun to join in the battle. Like, I will get you.
Caitlin definitely thinks that this is brilliant. So you have made a fan of Caitlin by your sword fighting.
Oh, yay. We should totally do that here. That would be so much fun.
That's literally all our board meetings are, actually. So, like, our board meetings are just everybody dressed up like a Viking, bring a sword. Some of them are real, some of them are not. You never really know. You take it how it goes.
You get a random assignment. Sometimes you get the sword. Sometimes
like
you get to kill. Sometimes you're killed.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I was doing some research on this topic, right? And I found some really great information on like theater and sustainability. And one of the things that like stands out to me, and there's a lot, but like one of the things that stands out to me that's so interesting is costumes. Because we take this 2D fabric, right? Like this fabric that is like a sheet of paper, basically, and we turn it into a 3D garment. And no matter how hard we try, there's going to be stuff that we don't use. There's going to be fabric that ends up either going into the garbage or whatever. And so I found some really interesting information about, you know, how to reuse that. And there's a great theater company that's actually all of their costumes are 100% recycled from inside their costume shop, or they will only buy fabric from like a secondhand store or a Desert Industries or something like that. Is that like the kind of stuff that you wish you could see more of? Like, tell me more about that.
Absolutely. And I love that the link you sent me is one that I had seen before. And so when you sent it to me, I was like, oh, I love this. And you might remember in that the link you sent me, they made this really cool light sculpture out of recycled water bottles that the community had brought in. I don't know if you can even show that on your screen, but it's so cool. You know, they took these water bottles and they put lights in them and created this big masterpiece. And that's been done a lot with theaters who call out to the community, say, bring in stuff, and they make these amazing sets and amazing costumes out of completely, yeah, there it is. I think that is so beautiful. I would totally put that in my house.
Right.
They make these things and you would never guess that it was recycled junk because they put it together, add a coat of paint or something, and it's just amazing. But yeah, so when we talk about, like, say, when I want to do the Newark show, I don't want I don't want nothing bought because there's no reason to. You can make amazing costumes out of anything that's around. And so definitely more of that. Also, I would really love to see a better database for our area where theaters can share with each other. We already do to a certain extent, but there are other databases nationwide where you can get on them. And one person, I was looking on one and it said, hey, we've got 50 pairs of point shoes. Does anyone need point shoes? And that sounds like, why would you need that many point shoes? But when you need point shoes, you need point shoes. And so they had all that stuff there, and anyone could get on and say, I need that. And then they would, and they would share back and forth so that it doesn't just get thrown away, because someone needs that.
Dan and I were just talking about this sort of idea yesterday, because one of the problems with this story is that most theaters don't have enough storage. And that's really the problem is, so I am all about let's reuse, let's get that. But like, we only have so much storage. So yesterday we were talking about set storage for, platforms and things like that we use over and over again. But oftentimes theaters don't have the room to keep them. So we have to throw them away or, take them apart and whatever. And then buy new ones when it's time. And that's so bad for the wood. Like, the amount of wood that theaters go through is really bad. A lot of theaters have started switching over to like steel and doing more welding and stuff like that, because it's easier to reuse and it's more structurally sound. But it's really the hardest part. And I guess for me, like, if I didn't know you, Mandie, and sometimes I still feel like I don't know you, like I'm learning little secrets about you all the time.
It's a little alarming, Brandon.
Alert. Like, if you were to just come into OPA one day and be like, hey, I want to do a capstone project about sustainability in theater, one of my first questions would be, that's really great. And probably it might have been with you when we first talked, but that's really great. How do I do that? Like, how does a community theater in Utah make a big enough difference that it matters?
So it's surprising how even the smallest changes will make a big difference. Even 1 degree difference in temperature in theaters will put like energy usage to about an 8% difference. And so you can say, hey, as one theater, I can't change the world, so I don't want to try. Or you can say, if 1,000 theaters and 1,000 homes and 1,000 businesses or millions do 1 or 2 little things, that adds up. So it's less about trying to be perfect and more about trying to do everything we can. So maybe I start here, and then I learn a little more, and I learn a little more, and I learn a little more. And there's actually a lot of things that open a list.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We lost you there for a minute. Are you still frozen? Are you there, Mandie?
It's a really great face to be
That's
frozen.
A great place to be frozen. Oh, there she's back. I see her again. Nope. She's frozen again. Mandie, check your internet if you can hear me. Otherwise, run down to my office and sit next to me.
Okay, so you still can't hear me?
Now we can hear you.
I can hear you, but the video is really like choppy.
Just come down to my office. We'll keep chatting here.
All right, I'm coming.
Okay, that means my screen's gonna have to always be on. I can't like hide when I like. Oh, I guess. Come in.
So unfortunate.
I know, right? We have this beautiful setup.
Okay, move this chair?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Now you can see my messy desk, everyone. No, you stay on that side. You're fine.
Like
You're totally fine. Sit over there.
I'll awkwardly stand behind you.
No, stay right there.
Okay.
You're in the background now. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Doing great. I thought we had it all set up, so I'm super sad.
It's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
It's live. It's live. It's like live theater. Okay,
That's
so
theater.
you're talking about
We're
small
just ad-libbing.
Okay.
Dan, what'd you say, Dan?
I said we're just ad-libbing.
Yeah.
I know, but now all my information is in the other room. I had like great quotes and stuff, but
Now we're gonna test you.
well.
Maybe this was set up for this reason.
Oh dear! And I had like so much information. Maybe I should run get my laptop and bring it in.
So you talked about small steps.
Yes.
Forget about theater. How can a
Okay.
family make small steps? Like, let's talk about community. Like, outside of the theater, how can people in Layton make small steps?
Okay, so let's talk about how we're in a horrific drought, right? So in the summer, horrific drought, my family used gray water to water our like flowers in our plants. So basically what you do is anytime you're rinsing something that doesn't have soap, just collect it in a bucket or our shower water, as it, you know how you turn it on and you wait for a second because it's freezing cold and you don't want to get in. Had a bucket under that, and that's how we actually watered all of our flowers for like the past 2 or 3 months. Something small like that. One of my favorites is shampoo and conditioner bottles and laundry detergent little strips, because you don't want all of that water. It's completely wasted and it's plastic. So you can get these laundry strips that come in a cardboard container, and you're not using those plastic jugs, and it works just as well. Shampoo and conditioner bottles, you don't want those. They're plastic. You can get the little, oh, yay, you're awesome.
Your laptop was
My
delivered.
laptop has arrived. You can get those. Now I'm like, I have facts and have quotes that I can give you. You can do things like that so that you're not using plastic bottles. I actually have a soda stream so that I don't use single-use bottles. I just use like reusable cartridges I get from Super Target, and that they can refill them.
Okay.
So things like that.
I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel, and this is my own personal problem, and I need to get over it, and I totally understand that, right? But Dan might be able to back me up on this. There are times that I feel embarrassed to do some of these things.
Really?
Yes. Like, okay,
Interesting.
I'll give you a good example.
Okay.
I hope you don't mind me calling you out. We went to dinner.
That's right. You're going to talk about the water bottle, right?
Yeah. But no, I think it's really amazing. Like, you do these things and you actually follow through on them. And I actually, that night, so we went to dinner after a show, Dan. You were probably invited, but you didn't come. It's fine. We still like you.
I was really tired.
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast was a whole different recycling story. But
my costume, I swear we used that in Kaysville City like 12 years ago.
you probably did.
And it came from Layton High. So that thing has been used multiple times. So
Yeah.
I love that my costume had been used probably 4 or 5 times, if not more.
Right.
So I was like, I'm in a recycled costume. It was awesome.
Okay, so we were at dinner
Yeah,
and you
we were.
pulled out a water bottle
Yeah.
because you didn't want them to bring a glass, right?
Well, just because I had left my reusable straw at home. So I didn't need a glass. I had my water with me.
Right. Those are the things that that's so great, but I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, how do you, was it hard for you in the beginning?
The only thing that was hard in the beginning is when I started using reusable totes before they were a thing. And so people would look at me really strangely at first, and I'm like, what else, right? I mean, we're in theater.
Right.
And then now it's the norm.
Right.
And so people are like, oh, that's so cool. But I do use, like, when you go and get bulk stuff, because I don't want to use plastic containers, I buy like cloth bags, and then I put the bulk stuff in my cloth bags. I use washable crayons to write the bin number on it. And so most people never say it, so they're like, oh, that's so cool. Where did you get those?
Mm.
So it's a lot more mainstream now than it used to be. So for me, it's been like, yay, look at these things and that you can do. And I don't ever have people like say, I mean, like you guys said, hey, why are you doing that? I'm just like, I'm using my water bottle. And that was like, no one yelled at me or threw things. So there you go.
I mean, not at you for that. I mean, there were a few things yelled that night, but not
true.
that.
That's true. There were a few things yelled. But
So,
not at me for using my water bottle.
There's somebody who I follow that does a lot of sustainability things, and just throwing this out there, and Mandie, you can share if this, I don't know if this is something you do, but it's also one of those things that's embarrassing for me that I've thought about, like, well, that makes so much sense, but I still can't bring myself to do, is they bring their own Tupperware containers when they go out to eat.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to have extra, and rather than get one of those
styrofoam
containers,
it makes
they just bring it and they just put it in that. Well, I'm always like, I feel weird about bringing Tupperware to a restaurant.
You know, the more you get used to it, the more it's like, and you know, you do the first time and people maybe say, what are you doing? You explain it. They always are like, oh, that's really cool. And they're like, great. And then it never bothers you again. So yeah, I do have one of those in my trunk. I have my whole bag of recycling, reusable stuff that I take with me everywhere I go.
See, new things I'm learning about her. I literally learn so much about Mandie every time we talk.
But I did
all good things.
Yes.
That's what's impressive.
Yes.
Because I did wait a few months before I threw the, can I use you for a capstone? So it was like when I asked you questions, can I ask you questions?
Actually,
I think
what
on my phone.
she did, what sold you was I talked about like having solar panels on the top of the theater, because I think that's
about that.
right. And then you were literally like, oh, solar panels. And then she grabbed her phone and she goes, can I ask you some questions? Like, that's literally how it went. And I was like, Yes.
Well, because I'm tentative, because I don't want to be one of those people that's overbearing about it. Because if you're overbearing about sustainability, people will shut down.
Sure.
So yeah, I was kind of feeling you out, and then I'm like, oh, like you're open, and I knew you were open. Because like you make sure the lights are turned off here, which
that's just because I'm cheap. Also because of that, I'm cheap. Dan knows that.
Sustainability is less expensive.
You're right.
Turning the lights off, turning the degrees up or down a notch is so less expensive.
See, Dan? See?
Money.
You're not cheap. You're just investing in sustainability. I get it.
From now on, anytime somebody turns on that light out there, I'm going to be like, nope, turn it off. Sustainability.
It's kind of funny because I've been in a lot of shows recently, and every time Brandon leaves, he's like, "You're in charge of turning off the air conditioning, so that it's not on all night long." We're just
all night.
Yep. It's all about making sure that we're sustainability. And the truth of the matter is, I think about it, and it's always a joke about dads and things like that. But the shut the door, we're not cooling the outdoors and things like that. I found myself falling into those same types of things. But the truth is it's not just about being cheap. It is about, hey, let's do what we can to make things last longer.
Take a step in the right direction, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, and Mandie even said it's little things that add up to big things.
Right. So you've been at OPA, you've been around for about a year. I want you to lay it out. What can we do better?
Even slightly less than a year. What can we do better? Or do you want to hear about stuff like you're doing already that's so great?
I mean, I always love to hear what we're doing great because that always makes me happy. But
I'll do the list that I've been working on. So
okay.
I love that so when you guys did the float, we did the float, because I totally helped.
Yes, you did.
And we're storing that, and you're going to use it every year, and you're just going to change like the little sign for what show it is.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. It's this cool float. So I have a picture on it as part of my capstone, and so that'll be something that can be used over and over and over again. I have here that you turn off all the lights. That we're not only reusing costumes, but we're using costumes from other theaters, and I really would love to see theaters communicate more and do more of that because there's so much stuff. Why make it twice?
Sure.
Reusing wigs. Of course, we clean them and everything, but we're using wigs, reusing props. I know my spear from Beauty and the Beast, I'm not sure what show it came from, but it came from another show, and it was awesome. It was like one of my favorite moments, and the Viking hat thing had been used from another show, so everything but the wig that I bought myself that will be used again was reused. Let's see, set pieces. I know all of the Beauty and the Beast flats had been repurposed. Online programs. I love that we're doing online programs.
Okay, but my mom doesn't.
Well,
my mom's really upset about it because she likes to take a program home, and I don't know what she does with them. I'm pretty sure one day when my mom passes away, which is going to be in a long, long time, let's just say that.
Yes.
But like, I'm going to go and there's going to be like a box full of programs, and I'm going to be like, what am I going to do with all of these things?
And there's always going to be things like that. But like my dad says, the people who used to make buggy whips had to go out of business. Things change.
What are buggy whips?
So when you drove a buggy, you needed a whip to be like, go horses.
Oh.
That's the example he uses. I think of things like, Hollywood Video and Blockbuster, back in the day.
Yeah.
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 So, they did go out of business, or maybe they're behind Netflix, but, things change.
I would much rather always have a digital program, bringing it back to digital program, because I'm always on my phone anyway. It's just like so much easier. And it's easier to look at later again rather than.
We can talk about the whole. Yeah, keep going.
Sorry, and you can make them as long as you want. Whereas, you turn them off, you've got to limit them so that you're not printing off I remember, and I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus here, but I've been to operas and stuff where it's like 50 pages long.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
You just killed so many trees.
Yeah.
The poor trees.
I see the reason some people like them in hand still, and I see the reason not having them in hand. is also valuable. But I personally think as the generation sort of moves on, this online idea will be much easier and because I notice even here at OPA, the people who really want a hands program are from a generation that's older than us. Sorry, but which is fine, and I do understand that because like even my mom has an iPhone, right? But she literally has no idea how to use it. I'm sorry if you're watching, Mom, but like she'll literally call every day and be like, "How do I?" And so like if my mom showed up and it was a digital program only, I'm doomed. Like that's the end. Like she wouldn't even know how to like start. So okay, but like what can we do better? Tell us what we can do better. Don't be shy.
Well, I'm thinking.
Oh, we're perfect.
I was gonna say I didn't know that was gonna come up. So like, what can you do better as far as sustainability?
Oh, I've stumped Mandie.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little stumped because I've just been really focusing on all the, even when I came and watched Dreamgirls, which was so good, by the way. But I loved how it was kind of a minimal set and it absolutely worked for me. So you didn't go crazy with that. And I love using the LED screen, which is better than using like regular light bulbs. So I might have to give that some more thought.
Okay.
Because I feel like you guys are doing really awesome, of course, or we guys, because I want to include myself.
Yes, absolutely.
I am keeping an eye on it, for when with the new theater.
Right.
I'm so hoping that we're going to do some really cool stuff with.
So are we, right, Dan?
With that, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I would love. Can you imagine if we were able to build a new theater and have it all be green?
Oh,
completely self-sustained. That would be.
I would love green space on the roof.
I love that idea.
I love that so much, but sometimes those are that part of the problem, I think, for theater companies and probably everybody, is some of this stuff gets value engineered out, right? Like it seems harder and more costly to put in the green space on the roof right now, but really over the course of the building, it would be totally worth it. But in this moment, it's a lot more money. You know what I mean? So
I think you just have to make sure you do like research and know what's really important and like stick to your guns. Yeah. Like, no, like in the long run, this is actually going to be better for us and save us money and do better for us. So let's go with that. Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say maybe like we had like those disposable masks, but I always reuse mine. I still have mine.
That's a long use mask you got there.
Well, because I don't use it all the time. I only use it for OPA stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's one thing that maybe some people threw theirs away. We should be like, hey, save that. Yeah. Like there's one there. I just thought of something.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I feel better. I feel better knowing we can do better, Dan.
And
yes. There's always. It's always nice to have goals.
Yes, exactly. So what is the words community matters mean to you?
What do the words community matters mean to me? Oh, there's just the theater to me is such a vital part of the community and I love the idea, and I think really OPA really puts their money where their mouth is with this, where you're welcoming all ages and socioeconomic status and all the other things we're going to talk about, like race and ethnicity and all that stuff, just welcoming everyone and creating a community. So for me, it's just everyone coming together to become something bigger than themselves and just welcome and home, and that feeling is what community means to me.
I love that. That's a great explanation. We like to ask everyone that. I mean, and by everyone, I mean the two people that have been on our podcast, we've asked them that because we think it's important for people to understand that. And I don't know about you, Dan, but I'm going to do my best to be better like Mandie.
Oh.
You're going to be my new goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I have learned so much from you, and I'm super excited to like work through your capstone project with you. And I love the idea, and I won't speak for Dan because he can say something in a second about creating a sort of place for theaters to come together and reuse and reduce and recycle. And save money.
Because it does.
Well, and that's probably the hook for other theaters, right? Is not only can we be sustainable, we can save money while we're doing it.
Right.
And that to me is one of the things that I really would love to be able to do is as is create a community of community theaters where we can work together and solve problems together, including tackling sustainability.
Yeah, agreed. Well, there's some really great information. I'm going to post it in the comments for everyone to see. There's some really great some research that I did. I didn't get to all of it because we talked about a lot of other things, but that you can learn a whole lot more by checking out this website that I'm posting in the comments. It has some great information, and we would love to know more. If you have questions, if there's things you want to know from Mandie, you can always send them to us. We will get them answered, put them out. We're happy to do that as well.
Oh, that would be fun.
Right?
I
know.
Yeah.
We can have like a little sustainability report every once in a while.
Yay.
You can hold us accountable.
That would be so much
And
fun.
And a sustainability share. I would love to do that, to talk to other people about what they do. Because I think for me, one of the biggest struggles is coming up with new ideas. You know, I'm a little bit lazy and I don't want to do the research or the due diligence on my own. So having somebody tell me, hey, try this, that works great for me.
Yeah,
Just
totally. Well, Mandie, anything you want to say to the people before we sign off of this lovely chat?
Oh, every little bit counts.
Every little bit. I think that's so important. Yeah. And I think that that's probably the thing that most people forget is even the littlest thing can make a big difference. Mm-hmm. You know, like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally agree. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, sit awkwardly behind me while we close this out, okay? Great, I love that. Dan, what did you think about Mandie?
She was great. It was fantastic.
I didn't leave and pretend to not be here.
No, I think it's better this way. I feel like this is perfect. I've been so excited about this chat. I've literally read tons of articles and stuff because as we're venturing into our next phase of OPA, you really don't have to hide. It's fine. As we're venturing into our next phase of OPA, I think it's important. I think it's important for us as a member of our community to try and be more sustainable and do the things that we can to make our community better. So, as I say a lot of times with things at OPA, I'm sure we're not going to be perfect. Like, we're going to mess up, but we're sure we're going to try. And I hope that other people do too.
Well, and I think that this conversation is important because the first step is to be thinking about it,
yeah.
Right? And then turn thought into action, and then action is what influences change. And so, you know, for me, it's interesting, and I'm, you know, a little humble brag, but I was 3-4 years ago the guy that was at Maverick twice a day getting cups, and now, like, reusable.
I thought you were bragging. I thought you were bragging you kept Maverick in business or something. I'm like,
no.
Brag going. Dan.
I just decided when I started getting stacks like 12 high of cups, and I'm like, this probably isn't great.
I just turned those into those are my nice china now. So I have like big gulp cups for my china if you ever come to my house. Just kidding, I don't.
Great. See, you're reusing as well.
Yes, I am reusing. You're absolutely right. All right, Dan, anything else you want to say to the folk? Oh, no. I stopped Dan too. Okay, well, this chat was awesome. And next week we have another amazing guest. We're bringing in Henry, who is going to chat with us about community and growing up in the arts and all of those things. And he has been all over Utah and the United States and done lots of really great things. And we're going to talk about community in different places and how theater communities are different and how they're the same. So I know I'm really excited about it. And I've already done some research. Don't judge me. So don't worry. Dan will do some research too.
Yeah, you're making me feel really awkward now. Like I've got to do some research now to be part of it.
Next Thursday at 4:55, when I text Dan and go, hey, are you coming? He'll be like, crap. Yeah, I'm on my way. I did some research. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. As we always say, go support the arts, whether it's here at OPA or anywhere that you can. It matters. The theater and the arts are so desperate for support from anywhere and anyone. So please go support the arts. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you all again in a week.
Next week.
Bye.
Same time.
We need like a theme song, like a play out, like a community matters. That was dope. I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
I'm gonna grab that sound bite. I'll talk to Josh and we'll just play it from now on.
I love that. Perfect. All right. Bye, Dan.
Bye.